The rain poured like it had something to say, heavy and unrelenting. It beat against the windows of the sprawling hilltop mansion like fists demanding to be heard. Beneath the cold drizzle, Amelia Hartley stood barefoot on the marble porch, her arms wrapped around her shivering body, staring at the grand oak doors that had just closed in her face. Behind those doors stood Graham Hartley, her husband of 16 years. Correction, ex-husband now, she supposed. He hadn't even said it with emotion, just those 7 words. You need to leave this house, Amelia. Amelia hadn't screamed or cried, not immediately. She had looked him straight in the eyes, searching for the man she had once fallen in love with. The man who had heard her through sleepless nights when they were both young and broke. The man who once promised he would never forget what she had sacrificed. She didn't even find that man, just cold indifference. You need to leave this house, Amelia. And she had, because she had let him believe it was his, the house, the fortune, the company. But now she would remind him. 20 years earlier, Amelia Rivers was a rising architect with an eye for symmetry and a gift for persuasion. Her designs were sharp, modern, and uncompromising, just like her. At 27, she had drawn the blueprint for what would become the most iconic eco-luxury resort in British Columbia. At 29, she had already been published in Architectural Digest twice. And that was when she met Graham Hartley. He was charming, fresh out of his MBA, selling dreams and promises with slicked back hair and a disarming smile. He said he wanted to build something real. She had the ideas, he had the bravado. Together they started Hartley Development. But only on paper was Graham the founder. Amelia was the one who had inherited a patch of untapped land from her grandfather. She was the one who mortgaged everything to buy their first house, their first office. She had drawn every angle of the mansion they would later call home, down to the lighting fixtures in the wine cellar. She had built the company quietly, as a woman often do, letting him shine out front while she constructed empires behind the scenes. It was her decision, her mistake. And now, with her suitcase soaked and her pride trampled, she realized it was time to undo that mistake. Amelia didn't run. She walked through the rain to the one person she could still trust, her older sister, Daisy. "You what?" Daisy shrieked, pushing the towel into Amelia's hands. "He kicked me out," Amelia said simply. "But it's your house." "Not legally," she admitted. "Not yet. But I can't fix that." Daisy blinked. "What do you mean?" Amelia pulled a folder from her soaked bag, slightly wrinkled but dry. She opened it and pointed to a signature line on an old document, dated 12 years ago. "When I transferred the company shares to Graham for a merger, I included a clause, a very specific one." "A clause?" "Yes. If he ever used company property or holdings against me without due course, everything will revert back to me instantly." Daisy stared, impressed. "You clever witch." Amelia smiled. "I always prepare for raining days." 3 days after Amelia's first exile, Graham found himself called into an emergency board meeting. Hartley Development's key investors were all there, green-faced and silent. Amelia walked in, dressed in charcoal grey, and his that clicked like gunshot on the tie. Calm, control, like a document in hand. This meeting, she said smoothly, is to confirm the reversion of all Hartley assets under Clause 7B of our partnership agreement, effective immediately. Graham turned pale. What the hell is this? You kicked me out, Graham, she said, of the house I built, the company I founded. You used company resources to remove me from property that legally belongs to the holding trust, which, as you well know, was protected under a legal clause you were too arrogant to read. She handed the papers to the CFO. Clause 7B, you breached it. Everything returns to me, and that includes the house. You can't do this, Graham shouted. I just did, Amelia said. A week later, Amelia walked through the front doors of her mansion, alone this time, but not defeated. The place was cold, unlived in. She moved slowly through the rooms, running her fingers along the furniture she had picked out, the walls she had painted, the design she had labored over while Graham traveled for business. She didn't cry. She didn't need to. Instead, she opened her laptop and drafted a press release. Hartley Development will be rebranded, effective immediately. We are now Rivers and Hartley Group, with full leadership returning to founder Amelia Rivers. Then she called her lawyers and her architect and a demolition crew, because she wasn't going to live in a house haunted by betrayal. She was going to build a new one, better, brighter, higher, with her name on every single word. 1 year later, the skyline of Vancouver shimmered with a new silhouette, a silver and glass tower, bold and unmistakably. At the top, a penthouse crowned in elegance, floor-to-ceiling views, a grand piano, a corner dedicated to blueprints. Amelia stood with a glass of wine, watching the city she had shaped. Behind her, a young female architect looked around in awe. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Amelia smiled. It's mine. Hope you enjoyed the story. Do subscribe for more interesting and value-adding stories.